What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a new video. My name is Aiden Houston, and if you're new to the channel, I'm preparing to walk 2,200 miles from Georgia to Maine on the Appalachian Trail, and you're coming with me. So it's currently January 23rd, and for those of you that have been following along, you might be expecting me to be on trail already, but spoiler alert, this isn't the trail. I need to bring you guys an update video, and that's sort of what this is. So there's a good reason that I'm not on trail right now, and that's because, as anybody that's been watching my previous content can figure out, we weren't exactly the most well equipped. If you guys watch my big 3 video, you know that our gear, especially our sleeping bag, isn't exactly up to par for the extreme environment that we're going to be walking into. Suffice to say, there were quite a few rough edges that we are capable of smoothing over if we just allow ourselves the time to. All my life I've been notoriously bad about putting things off to the last minute, but always grinding in that last minute and being able to pull it off. I was conscious of that approaching this adventure. I figured that the first couple weeks of January would grant me enough time to really grind and knock out everything that I need to. But it's a bit of an understatement to say that I've been a little overstimulated the past couple weeks, getting everything moved out of my house and watching my finances and just the anticipation for this adventure. It's all been a bit of an overload. So when those last couple of weeks finally came, the grind wasn't there as much as I would have liked it to be. So the reason that I didn't leave on the 16th is because the ride that I had lined up fell through. And I'm starting to think that might have been a blessing in disguise, because if I had left then and was on trail now, I would have signed myself up for a 6-month-long commitment to uncertainty and discomfort. And as much as I am a fan of yes theory and I want to go out there seeking discomfort, I also want to try to create the most vicarious experience for you guys. I've got a plan for a movie at the end of this trail, and I have to make sure that each individual video that I upload between there is so cinematically perfect that I can take slices of it and put it together and create just a beautiful documentary-esque movie for you guys. That is our goal at the end of this adventure. And everywhere in between will be more in-depth breakdowns that will really introduce you to what this trail is like. I'll take a moment to explain that a little bit further. I have watched countless hours of content now of other people who have already hiked the trail and who are preparing to. I've been comparing everybody's quality of content. I mentioned this in my introduction video, that I want to be a content creator, which I am first and foremost. And then this Appalachian Trail is just kind of a side mission. I've been an outdoorsy person all my life, and I've been backpacking for the last few years on much smaller expeditions, nothing at all like the Appalachian Trail. But I do have experience backpacking, and I do have experience creating content for people online. And I think if I combine both of those worlds, then I can make content that really stands out. And that is really my main focus going out there. While a lot of people might be going on this trail for some spiritual awakening, or to discover themselves, or to work through trauma, or for whatever reason you might be out there, I don't have that good of one. My reason for being out there is basically I don't have anywhere else to be. A quick backstory. I promise I'll get into the meat of this video eventually, but a quick backstory for you guys. I first discovered the Appalachian Trail probably here on YouTube, like most people. I can't remember the first person that introduced me to it. It was probably Dixie from Homemade Wanderlust, I think, but I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly when I was first introduced to the trail and figured out what it was. But I do remember that when I did, I kind of got obsessed with it. And I started watching tons of these movies of these thru hikers and learning about what they were. And at the time, it was nothing I was very serious about because I had so much more going on in life. But I did know that someday I would hike that trail for myself. But I took that thought and I put it on the back burner for a long time. Until last summer when I took a road trip with my family to South Carolina. It was on the way there that we were crossing near the North Carolina-Tennessee state line, a couple miles out from Asheville. There was this bridge that crosses over a river. I had woken up from a nap. We had been driving for a while. I didn't realize that we were going to go up to Asheville and then down to South Carolina. So I wake up and we're surrounded by mountains and I'm like, wow, this place is nice. And I look and see where we are and we're getting close to the state line. And I didn't know exactly where it was, but I did know because of our general geographical location, we had to be sort of within spitting distance of the AT. So I looked up an interactive map and compared it to our current location. And as I was doing that, there was a spot where the AT intersected with I-40, less than a mile in front of me. And it's just like the timing there was so perfect. So I lean up in the front seat and I look at my dad. I'm like, "Hey, the Appalachian Trail is like over here. Can we take a stop for a minute?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, that's fine." So we pull off of this exit and we drive across the bridge. I see 2 hikers walking across already, but we keep going across. And my dad parks the truck down by the river, and I'm trying to get out of this truck before it even comes to a complete stop. And I'm running back up the road where I saw the trail come down out of the mountains and then go across the bridge. And I run up into there and I'm just standing there in front of the sign for the saying that I'm standing on the Appalachian Trail. And just in that moment, something I had entertained the thought of for years had suddenly become a lot more real. I decided right then and there that it was a lot more likely that the next big thing that I do in my life was going to be this trail, but I didn't know when I would do it exactly. A few more months go by, and I had some personal life changes. A wake-up call, if you will, regarding some relationships I had in life. And after everything that had happened, I started to grow more as a person and start a process of individualization, which I might make a whole video about in the future sometime. But it was basically in that moment I decided that I was done staying content in the place that I was, that I had to really discover myself and really live my life. So I started doing exactly that and starting to plan a future as a content creator and where I was actually going to go. And it was then that I decided that this calling that I had to the AT, it was time to actually do something. So I decided then that around my birthday, which at that point was over 150 days away, this was back in like October, into September, beginning of October, I think. So the AT has been calling me. And I really know that it's something I'm meant to do. I don't think that it's going to be like the thing that changes my life. I think it's just going to be the first of many life-changing experiences that I spend the rest of my life doing. Truly, in my soul, this feels like something that I am supposed to be out there doing. And I'm 21 now. And unlike the past few birthdays that I've had, turning 21 actually does feel different. And it's not just because I can buy my own, 21-year-old products at stores or alcohol now in bars. I just feel older. Now that I feel 21, I feel like I've spent the last few years learning a lot. Back when I was in high school, I used to think that as soon as I graduated, I was going to go out into the world and make something of myself. But looking back, that kid would have never made it out there. Because I have learned just so much. And it's not just something that you can just sit down and figure out. Information can sometimes be interpretable. I read a book a while ago that gave me knowledge that I was able to use to change my life. But I have read this book cover to cover twice now. with several months in between. My first read through was mind-opening. It showed me that there were seemingly random dots all throughout my life that all could be connected because of my lack of touch with myself. And during that first read through, there was a lot that I took away from it that I used to better myself. But then a lot of stuff that I also felt that I couldn't entirely relate to, so I glanced over or didn't resonate too deeply with. But upon my second reading, months later, after I had been practicing some of the tricks in the book for a while and really starting to discover who I was, I realized that the things that I had thought that I didn't relate to before, I actually could. But because of my perspective at the time, I wasn't able to truly interpret what I was reading the right way. I was never quite as open-minded as I thought that I was. So as much as I wish I could go back in time and tell my 18-year-old self everything that I know now, I know that even if he had that information, he wouldn't interpret it properly. Because he hadn't grown, he hadn't lived or experienced what he needed to. But I think I have enough figured out to really make something of myself. And that all starts with the Appalachian Trail. Reaching Katadin is just going to be the first of a lifetime of accomplishments. A lifetime that will hopefully be documented thoroughly on this channel. That's what this is. If obviously I'm targeting a specific demographic right now of hikers and backpackers in this Appalachian Trail community, especially the class of 2023. And I'm just targeting you guys now because that's where the next 6 months are going to take us. But don't think for a second that this is a backpacking or outdoorsy channel. I enjoy that stuff, I'm passionate about it, but what this channel is really about is me pursuing those passions, whatever they may be. Also, I'm sorry if there's a tremor in my voice right now because I had to turn the heater off so the audio wasn't too terrible in this. And it's starting to get a little chilly in here, so I think that's my cue actually to dive into what this video really is, and that is me addressing you guys. Your guys's, that doesn't sound right. I'm addressing your comments in my previous videos, your questions and concerns. So without further ado, thank you guys for listening to my tangent. I hope that gave a little backstory to who I am. Big shout out to Go123. They have interacted with just about every single one of my AT related videos and have left me plenty of comments that we're going to be going over in this. So the first one is, where are you storing your stuff while you're gone? My granddad was able to make room out in his shop at their house, and we have been able to cram everything into there. And that way I don't have to pay to keep everything there, and I know that everything's going to be safe there because a lot of their own stuff is out in that shop, and it's pretty well climate controlled. So my stuff should definitely be safe there, and that is where it will be for the indefinite future. So Go went on to ask, how am I getting to the trail? As of right now, I don't know. Originally I was going to have a friend drive me, and I thought that it would be an awesome opportunity for her to go with me because not only do I get transportation there, but then she also gets an opportunity to walk the approach trail and see me off and camp out and get her own little AT experience. But she had a bit of a transitional period at work right around the time that we were supposed to be leaving, and ended up in that all falling through, so that's not in the works anymore. I currently don't have anything in the works. So moving on, how tight is a shoestring budget? A few weeks ago it was a lot tighter than it is now. I had some birthday money and some other sources of revenue And as well as once I'm on trail, I will have access to whatever tax returns that I'm able to get. So when we actually start, I don't know how much I'm going to have, but it's probably going to be around, hopefully, $2,000 to $3,000. Alright, so moving on to our big 3 video, I've already got like 4 comments on here of people recommending bag liners. I'm not going to go into detail until my gear update video, but I will let you guys know we have changed out the bag. And I feel like I can feel y'all's sighs of relief through the fabric of time itself right now. Crazy Legs on the Trail asks, have you hiked in the Great Smoky Mountains before? No. I've grown up all my life over in West Tennessee, which is the most radical stark contrast to East Tennessee. Whereas out east, there's the Smokies and all this lovely mountainous terrain. Out in the west here, we have like a lake and agriculture in Memphis. Martin asks, well, no, that's not a question. This is a statement. Martin says, I would fix all issues before leaving. Yes, Martin, 100%. Frank Wolf says, please do yourself a favor, don't take the cotton socks. Yeah, the cotton socks I don't think I ever really intended to take with me. They're sort of just placeholders at the moment. We'll get into this in my future gear video like everything else, but I have ordered some toe liners that will replace the cotton socks in my gear bag. Go123 asks if I have a trail name yet. I like to look at a trail name sort of like a nickname. I know that some people have different opinions on it and some think it's acceptable to give yourself a trail name. But I remember back in summer camp, it was always, you couldn't give yourself a nickname. Like, it was always taboo if somebody found out that you had given yourself a nickname. I personally believe that a trail name is something that you should earn and be given through your trials and tribulations and the people that you encounter along the way. It should be a title, a testimony to your character. And something like that can really only truly be given by other people, not by yourself. I call myself whatever the hell I want to, but that doesn't mean I live up to it. Oh, my throat's getting scratchy. I need to wrap this video up. And I think that's actually all the comments, so that is actually something that we can entirely do right now. This was a lot of talking, I know. If you actually watched to the end of this video, thank you so much. Show your support to the channel by liking it. It'll probably be the start of February, give or take, when we actually decide to get out there. But I'm not going to stress too much about that at the moment. I do feel fairly free and liberated from a lot of the most stressful things over my life, and things definitely aren't as overstimulating as they have been over the last few weeks. So I think this is the best time to really figure out the logistics of what we're about to face. And I think if we do put it off till February, then not only will we be more equipped, but we're also going to be a little bit closer to a handful of other people that I'm going to be meeting out there, while also still managing to stay far enough ahead of the bubble to not be swamped by people at every shelter. So with all of that being said, and my train of thought totally going off the rails now because I have been rambling for an hour, and I'm kind of losing my mind, so I'm just going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned because I'm probably going to try to have a video out every single week, maybe 2 videos a week. I would definitely love to have 2 videos a week for you guys, and I think I can make that a possibility. Thank you again for watching this video. Stay tuned for more, and remember, subscribe to join the journey.